Welcome back to Above the Grain. I'm Aaron Moore, and on this channel you're going to find tips, tricks, and techniques for proper restoration and refinishing of your furniture at home. Today we have a lot of really cool pieces and projects in store to show you guys, but first I wanted to come on here and talk to you guys about something really important about the future of Moore's Refinishing. Over the last few days, Ivan and I have had a lot of discussions here behind the scenes about the future of the shop and where we want to go with it. Over the last 18 months, all the messages and the overwhelming response from all of you about the teaching side of the platform, the book, the online community, just even the posting the videos here on YouTube, we've really wanted to see if we could jump into the teaching side of it more than just refinishing furniture on the daily basis. And this is where you come in. Whether you're a furniture refinisher, somebody who's doing it as a hobbyist, maybe a dealer or a store who wants to tie this in with their company, maybe not outsource the refinishing to people like me, they could keep it in-house, maybe make more money for their business. And a lot of other messages that I receive are from woodworking shops who build furniture, but now want to start tying it in. They could do the finishing of their own furniture. For one, they'll get a better product, and two, they're going to be able to make more money in shop if they offer this service. So I said, this is why I'm going to ask you to click that notification bell and subscribe, because I'm going to need your feedback over the next few videos when I start dropping this out and explaining what we want to build and what we want to provide for you guys as an additional service of refinishing and furniture restoration. With that being said, let's get back to work. As you saw in the beginning of the video, all four of these doors are done for that American by Martinsville, and the cabinet itself is ready. We're just waiting on the mirror, some epoxy to dry. We'll sand that. But I even got these sanded up. They're completely repaired, fixed, ready to go. And you always see me with these little mounts. We custom made these many years ago. We always, we resupply it every so often when they start getting a little weak. And we'll put them in the original holes. So that way, watch this. When you're in your spray booth or wherever you're spraying, you could hang it up on some sort of bar, or like we have in the shop, like hanging racks. We could hang it up like this and spray all four sides at the same time. We could spray top, bottom, everything at once versus laying it flat, letting it dry, and then flipping it over. It's just a lot easier to do it this way. And like I said, we've inside my refinishing guide, I teach you how to make these, what we do, the knots that we tie. Little secret too with the super glue that we use, like that's a must for these shock mount or these hanging mounts. So it's just, if you want to order a copy of that, go to the link down below. So we got one of them down. I'll turn it this way so you can, this one's actually different. So this doesn't have the mount here. We're going to put it on the inside hinge. We'll do it there. Carefully, I said, you're always going to want to check too the depth so you don't accidentally screw it through the top side. It may have happened once or twice, but don't tell anybody. We fixed it. So I said, once again, we'll bring it back over inside the little hanging mount, and you can see we've over the years have added hundreds of nails inside these these pieces of wood, so that way we could align different size pieces of furniture, doors. We've hung piano lids up here from baby grand pianos have been hanging up here. So like this has held a lot of weight. You'll notice every so often too some larger hooks. We've held 200-300 pound pieces of furniture on some of these instead of the nails. It just depends. We add it as we go. It's been pretty stable. The last 2 or 3 years, I don't think we've added anything. It just works properly, and no reason to fix what's already working. Like, why change it? Like I said, last piece now here, we'll hang it up as well. And then we're going to stain these probably later this afternoon. We'll show you that. But first, let me show you something inside the spray booth. Now you can see why my fingertips are so sore from sanding the sealer on this guy. What we're using on it is the sanding sponge. And I think this has taken me a good hour to get to this last point of about a foot, 18 inches, but I wanted to show you how we're doing it. And this is even easier than when we sanded the rough pieces of wood. We're going through and just carefully sanding that top layer of the polyurethane. We're trying to get in all these little spots just to knock it down. Luckily for me, on this project, it is going exterior. It's not like it's a fine piece of furniture. If it has a little bit of roughness to it, but as long as it has the protection, we should be good. It's not gonna lay glass smooth on something of this, nature. It's already been sitting outside for, 30 plus years, I believe. It was pretty rough from the get-go. But now, sanding this, I wish you were here. I wish you could feel it. Ivan will vouch for me that it is, like I said, pretty darn smooth for a piece of this size and, all of the carvings. But like I said, what we're going to do next, we're going to finish this sanding, blow it all off, get any little pieces of the foam that have broken down. We're going to get that cleaned up. And then we're going to go through, and I just found out this morning, it's been a few years since I used this product, I can tint it and add some of the dye stain to it to give me a little bit of richness out of this, to make it pop for the customer and even out some of the lighter tones. So in the middle, it's a little bit lighter than what's in like some of the little low spots of the carvings. But I could do that, which is a bonus with using that oil-based polyurethane versus some of the like general finishes. You can't use that dye stain because the water and oil do not mix, which I said I'm really happy with that. It's things like this. Why I got into the teaching side of it is, how does one who starts out, who doesn't know these kind of things, mixtures of paints, what works with what, what products work together in unison, what products don't work together, and you would have chemical reactions. That's really why I started this, getting into this channel, getting into the social media side back in, I believe it was 2021 is when I really got started, towards the end of 2021. And then now we've grown to where, where we are with all these channels and subscribers and followers. And same thing, I want to do something more than what we're doing now. Like, I want to get into teaching you guys how to refinish, one-on-one type of situations, maybe one-on-many. We have group lessons, community building, online, Zoom calls. Like, there's a lot of ideas that Ivan and I have been throwing around to expand this part of the business. But what may work in my head may not work for you guys at home. So that's why I'm going to need your feedback as well. One big tip when doing things like this, throw on your headphones or even just music, listen to a book or a podcast. Music is okay, but those kind of things you're learning, you're not really paying attention to what you're doing here. It's just a mindless task. All you're doing is just sanding lightly. Put something on that will kind of take the time away. I'll do it a lot of times too. I'll hop on a phone call with my best friend, my brother, my dad even. I'll just sit on here and just chat with them for an hour while I'm doing this, because it's, like I said, it's mindless. I'm just here going through the motions, using my hands to kind of feel to see if it's smooth. And like I said, it's not as tedious as it looks. And another tip, don't jump around spot to spot on this, on these kind of sanding. Start in one section, work your way down, and that's how I've been doing it. I've been doing one panel at a time all the way through, because you think that maybe your patience is low, maybe that you don't want to jump in and do it. If you do start in one section, it will feel like you're taking forever, but it will get done properly. Just work your way slowly around. That's one of the biggest tips here, like from inside the shop. Something Ivan and I do. We just dive into some of the most tedious jobs, but as long as we have music or headphones or a podcast, with a podcast on, it just kind of goes by much quicker, and the quality of the work doesn't change, because it's just second nature to us now. Like I've mentioned, it's 21 years now. I think I've been doing this. Ivan's, I think, around 16 or 17 that he's been doing it. And it's like, we just go through the motions knowing that it's just, second nature to our minds, our bodies. We know what we're doing. So whatever we can do to speed up the process, make it feel like it didn't take as long, is what the goal is at the end of the day. Because if you just sat here in silence, just sitting here sanding every inch of this, it'd get real boring, real tedious, and I'd probably just want to throw this and walk out. I don't want to have to do that. I want to get this in the spray booth and finish it up for install later this week. Okay, we got the sanding done. Now I'm just finishing mixing up this this polyurethane, making sure that it's all thoroughly mixed. There's none of that little sediment sitting at the bottom, and then we'll make up some of the clear coat right now. It may say low VOC, but this potent smell is definitely. It's only been 30 seconds. It's already strong getting to me. So I'll throw my mask on. Then I can make up the paint, the poly. A little too much. Perfect. Then we'll put the hardener in. There we go. And what I like to do is just a little splash of acetone, just to thin it out just a little bit. Helps it spray better, a lot more smooth. And then what we're going to do is I'm going to grab one more cup, and I'm going to probably put about half of it in. So I'll put about half of it in. Then I'm going to grab a couple of my toners to give me a little bit more of that pigment to richen it up. A little bit of that one. And I'll get one more just to give me a little bit of pigment. Just like that. Just to make it look a little bit nicer. Get a fresh stir stick. Mix it up real well. It might be a little concentrated, so I might put just a little bit more clear. There we go. That's a little bit better. So what we're going to do now, come over here, we're going to blow it off one more time. Let me get that. So I'm going to try to get all those little pieces of the foam sanding sponges out. You'll see it starting to fly. Watch. Okay, so we'll put a little our color in the gun. We'll get a little cover on here. I'm going to turn up the PSI. I'm going to make it a little bit more powerful to disperse the color a little bit more evenly. If you leave it at a lower PSI, you're going to start seeing, I call them pixels. You're going to see the little single spots of paint going on. It's kind of ugly. You don't really want to do that. So turn up the PSI. There we go. Just work my way around. We're going to let that polyurethane dry overnight. It looks stunning. I'm not even going to show you till tomorrow, so make sure to stay tuned. One last thing is that little Ethan Allen end table that we fixed last week. I'm just going to put a few of the screws back in so that way I can take it with me tonight, and I'm going to go see the customer tomorrow morning and get it delivered. So once again, it just goes back in the opposite way as it came out. You know, these little custom-made L brackets with a few, looks like little 1/2-inch screws. So we'll get them kind of lined up. And I just noticed they're not Phillips. I believe they're a square drive. So I'm gonna have to go get the new bit for that in just a second. Yeah, I think they are just as pure square. They're not the hybrid. Sometimes these little screws will have the square with a few little flanges on it, so you could get a Phillips drive in it. And it kind of looks like I see a little bit, but I don't think I want to risk it. Let me see first before I may just slip out and then start trying to strip the screws. So let's see, we'll knock out, I got 2 more here. And then, let's see, I slid it a little too far. There we go. Okay, I found the right bit. I already had it out knowing that it was going to go, back with this piece. So I'm just going to do it by hand real quick to kind of just get these set up in place. I was talking yesterday, remember that big table last week from Morgan? It's already sold. She put it in her new little, her store inside of Urban Americana. I think she said she sold it on Saturday. So she picked it up Friday, sold it on Saturday, and was super excited. So see the difference what happens when you actually restore a piece? You can actually get it sold quicker and for more money than if you just let it go, what I call it is OG, like original. Just putting a little bit of time and energy into your piece of furniture can drive up sales and profit. So remember that the next time you are, maybe just using Howard's Restore Finish or one of those products and thinking that it's good enough, it's probably not. Okay, I'm going to flip it over just to make sure none of the screws poke through the top, because that would not be good. Because I actually didn't check the length before doing it, which I normally do. But it's late in the evening. I'm getting ready to get out of here right now. With the time change, it just kind of screwed everything up. That it's still really bright outside. I don't realize that it's already 5:30 and I got to get out of here. So once again, if you've learned something new in this video today, make sure to hit the subscribe button down below, and we'll see you guys tomorrow.